Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Welch. But with me, your host, John Luke Welch. We are back, we're here, we're live, and we made it Friday. Yes, sir, the week is over, finished, and it's about to be ended off in a bang, like we're here on YouTube, on every podcasting platform. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate all of you coming up and having yourself a great time on today's show. It's going to be a jam-packed episode. We got to talk about the final preparations for Wardley versus Parker, asking some questions off the back to the conversation with Canelo and what his comeback would look like, and all the potential fights that we have with Anthony Joshua and others. We need to also look at Terrence Crawford and what's next for his career, more specifically in regards to Boots. Will that fight actually ever happen within his career? We may say it needs to, but is there a reality where it may not actually take place? As well as, again, the whole show is also dedicated to you all in the championship rounds. That's right. Y'all drive the conversation. You all drive the output, and you all control the show all this, for this entirety of the time. So we're happy to be with you today. If you have not already, after we do the intro, if you haven't already, come on in and subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Come on. Come join the empire. Come be about this monolith, this empire, this absolute mogul of a community that we're building up together. Be sure to hit notification bells so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube. Also be sure to comment your thoughts and opinions in the chat down below so we can see what you got to say and have your voice be seen and heard for the masses to witness and enjoy. And be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support. We can make it happen. We can make it do what it do, and we can't do this without you. Viewers like you help make this thing possible, so we appreciate it oh so much. And as well, if you want to support the channel, if you like what you're hearing and you want this to keep on going, hey, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you would like to support anything we'll do to help make this channel bigger, better, and grander, and help us to invest back into the show so that you all can get the enjoyment and the deserved nature of high-quality production. Because, again, we're going to live up to the moniker of the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform. Also, rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to us on your job, at your work, in your home, with your boss, with your coworkers. Don't matter where. This is the place to be, and it's the only place that you need to be when it comes to all of your news, talks, opinions, debates, the conversations and whatnot, just to make your day go by a little bit brighter. But again, with all that being said, we got sports to cover. We got championship rounds to delve into. It's Friday, so we're going to end this week out with a bang, and we're going to have ourselves a phenomenal time. So with all of that being said, it's time to start the show, and it's time to start the show with the championship rounds. Without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? It's time for a fight. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. Let's get it started. Ring the bell. It's time to shine. It's time to make this show sublime. It's time to make your voice be heard and seen for everybody to come witness and enjoy. But while you're getting your questions and comments together for the entirety of the show, we have so much going down on the line today. like with again Fabio Wardley versus Joseph Parker. That's happening. Yes, indeed, it's here. It's here 1 day away. They just did the weigh-in for the fight right now. Watching them both come through. I'm not gonna lie. As much as Fabio Wardley looks like a taller fighter, I did not expect to see from a frame perspective just how big Joseph Parker is coming into this fight. Now he's always been like a big dude. Again, just genetically, he's been a big brother. This brother going against Fabio Wardley. As much as Fabio Wardley looks, you see the muscles, you see it's a more of a leaner, physical physique. Joseph Parker just looks like a wall. I'm serious, and I'm not talking about a wall in a bad way, but a wall in like it's a. Like this man is just a big human being. Now we see a little bit more of the damage that Parker is facing when it comes to the power perspective coming into this fight. Yes, we know Wardley's one of the biggest punchers in all of the heavyweight division, but that also doesn't take away from Parker, who is also, from a physically athletic standpoint, hey man, this cat got some tools on him. And we touched on this a little bit. We touched on this a lot yesterday. Completely understandable. But now, seeing them face to face with each other, oh my, oh my, oh my. There's a hey, whoa. That's the best thing I can say. Whoa. Wardley's gonna have a time dealing with this brother. And again, we already said, you weren't here yesterday. Full disclaimer, I have Joseph. Actually, no, we didn't do a prediction last show, did we? Good gosh, wait a minute. We didn't even do a prediction last show. We did all the breakdown and stuff. I didn't even say who I was going to win. Shoot. Hold on. Let's fix that right now. When it comes to Wardley versus Parker, for who I think is going to win, just outright saying it, which again, I'm so sorry. I forgot to even say, I forgot to say it last time. Hey, I got Parker winning this fight. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I got Parker winning this fight, most likely by a knockout, or at least by a unanimous decision. That's what I did. I got this fight by KO or by unanimous decision. When it comes to when it comes to Wardley, I just don't know. With how Wardley has been pulling stuff out of the fire in a way that is out of a very much I don't want to say last minute, but it's very, oh man, I'm glad that punch landed, because if it didn't, he would have been in trouble. And when it's that type of situation, I'm like, man, how many more opportunities is it going to be that type of game plan is going to work when you're getting beat, and then you're able to pull victory from the jaws of defeat? It's a great skill to have, but it can't be a skill that you do every single time out. And for Wardley, he's been doing it. Even though Parker, yes, has also done it as well in his career, it's been more consistent that, hey, once he gets control of a fight, he ain't losing it. But Wardley, that's just not the case. Could be because of his inexperience. Could be because he's still, again, as a background of a fighter. Yeah, he doesn't have the same level of gravitas, the same level of pomp and circumstance from a perspective of pedigree. I get that, and I'm not trying to diminish what he is doing right now in his career. It's insane just to get this far, from where and from how he got into this sport. Yeah, and we all credit to him. You ain't gonna hear me talk against him. From the standpoint of it's not something to behold of really impressive nature, but it also ain't gonna be able to say, hey man, we understand these limitations that you have. Now you at a stage where you can't have them. You can't afford to have them anymore. You can't. Because you're dealing with people that you have that big of a deficiency, that big of a hole in your game. They will scope it out. And Joseph Parker is one of the main people that I can promise you right now, he will be able to scope it out. He will knock you out. We have to be real. We have to be real. He can, and I do think he actually will knock out Joseph Parker or knock out Fabio Wardley. I'm serious. I'm serious. We can talk about the chin of Wardley. We can talk about the durability, the heart, the grit, the tenacity, the willingness to, the ability to walk through fire. Oh, we can talk about that till the cows come home. That's no problem, because that's there. That's absolutely there. But also, what have I said about chins in the boxing world? It's not just about that you have a good chin. It's about your ability to protect that asset of your game. And chins are something that when you have it, oh, it's incredible. It's phenomenal. It is absolutely stupendous to be able to say I am one of the most durable fighters in not just a division, but just in this sport as a whole. It's a blessing for the likes of which anybody would give. Amir Khan wishes he had that type of chin. But when you have it, it becomes a situation where over-reliance will inevitably be your downfall. It will be the thing that takes you out. It will be the thing that makes it so that all of the success that you garnered from this point on is no longer able to be sustained, because now your biggest defense, which was your face, now no longer exists. It doesn't. And you cannot be just an imposing force of will and an indomitable wall that people literally cannot punch through. That just won't be the case. It just won't be the case anymore. It will not be the case anymore if we see that it start to crack. Once the crack happens, well, that's it. That's it. That is it. A good chin ain't just about taking a shot. A good chin is about being able to take shots over the course of multiple fights and over the course of your career, while also making it so that you can have that chin last instead of shortening that lifespan by willingly putting yourself where you have to take shots. In some cases, yeah, it's just unavoidable. But in others, yeah, that ain't the case. In others, that ain't the case. In others, it's a situation where digging yourself an early grave when it comes to your fighting career. Hold on. Hello? Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello? Testing? Testing? Hello? 1, 2, 3. Make sure my cords are in here right. Hold on now. I ain't moved nothing. I ain't done nothing. Woo, woo, woo. You know it already. Okay, we should be okay. All right. I don't know what I didn't touch it. I didn't touch a doggone thing. So I don't know what. But we should be good to go there. But what was I saying? Parker. What was I saying? Wardley. Parker. What was I saying? Wardley. What was I saying? Parker. Ward. No, I mean what I was saying. This fight with Wardley, I'm concerned because this could be an inclination of what we see for the rest of Wardley's career. Not from the perspective of he's not going to be a real threat. No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that in the slightest. And thank y'all for helping me out. Thank you, Ora Welch. Thank you, Terry Welch. All of y'all. Thank you for helping me out with the chat. Because I was, oh my indeed. Oh my goodness indeed. Also, hi. I'm glad y'all tuned in. but with Wardley, I'm scared that the Deontay Wilder sentiment is going to be the same thing that happens in his career. And that's a horrifying perspective because it's a situation where he is vulnerable to being left behind when he's at the top of his game. That's the horrifying. Now, it's not going to be, I doubt it's going to be the conspiracy theories. I doubt it's going to be a situation where he's coming through and it's going to be, oh my, we're going to see him making excuses if he loses. Everything was against me. My trainer set me up. I doubt it's going to be like that. But I also doubt this brother's going to go undefeated. And more than anything I see, this man is going to be a concerning effort. Once he's consistently at the top of this mountain or at the top of this contending status, and he is going to still be this style of fighter. It doesn't evolve just like with Deontay Wilder. That is a scary sentiment. It's a really scary sentiment. He looks more driven. He looks dedicated, all that stuff. No issue there. He's young. I get it. But the same inclinations of how he fights look parallel to what we saw with Deontay Wilder. And we now know what that turned into. And I don't want that to be for him. I'm a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie. Also, Teddy Berkshot, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Let me see what you got to say. Parker trying to KO him, weighing in at 260. Yes, he is. Look, y'all, you peeped it too. You peeped it too. I told you. I was shocked to see just how big Joseph Parker was coming into this fight. That is a wide man. As much as Wardley looks powerful, lean, and fit, Parker looks like he is coming in understanding, hey, we gon' tussle. It's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get physical. I'm gonna be prepped for it. Similar to what we saw with crazy enough, Tyson Fury. When he fought against Deontay Wilder. The parallels are starting to show through. Gained weight. Got bigger. Is looking to impose a physical nature on a brother who can't fight on the back foot in Fabio Wardley. Yeah, it's lining up. It's lining up. It's lining up. And most likely, Parker's going to keep the speed that he had in the fight with Mark McCullough, in the fight with Big Bang Jank. He's going to keep the agility. He's going to keep the movement. He's going to keep the angles that he can go. He's going to keep the ability to react without losing a step. Boy. We looking at a dangerous man in Joseph Parker. We're looking at a dangerous man in Joseph Parker for this fight. Oh, yes, we are. Against this opponent. Oh, yes, we are. And you got Parker wins by KO in the ninth. Yeah. I don't bet anything. And I mean nothing. I don't bet anything on Fabio Wardley going down before the ninth round. Because he's not going to just stay. He's not going to give up. I can promise you that. But I can guarantee you the punishment that we saw him take against Justice Huni is going to be the same type of punishment against a better puncher in Joseph Parker. It's going to be more damage because it's going to be against a better offensive fighter in Joseph Parker. Now, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. Hey, I ain't got no issue. But I can only go off of what you showed me. When you faced off against an opponent that was beating your butt. In this case, he was also the most talented fighter you had faced at that point in your career. And now we see you got outboxed. You got predictable. You got telegraphed. And if it wasn't for the saving grace of that shot that you landed in the center of the ring, you would have gotten beat. If you ain't getting knocked out, you would have gotten beat. And also, you got rocked about 5 times in that fight. Wardley said that was the worst fight of his career. Hey, perfectly fine. No issue there. No issue there. Everybody's not gonna have their best day, but your worst day was was horrible. Your worst day, you got cleaned out almost 9-1 by the time that KO came through. Excuse me, 8-1 by the time that KO came through. From the standpoint of how many rounds you won as a fighter, you could argue it was a clean sweep. You could make an argument. Wardley didn't win a round. You could make an argument. At best, you could say he won 3. Before getting absolutely dog-walked for the perspective of Honey's slipping, doubling up on the hook, going downstairs to the body, keeping you on the back foot every time, getting out of the way of all of your big shots when you were trying to get desperate on the ropes, clenching you up, beating you on the inside, working you on the ropes all around the ring. And that's no disrespect to Justice Honey, but Honey ain't Joseph Parker. And Parker did this in the face of fear against an even more demonstrative puncher. One of the biggest punchers we've ever seen in Deontay Wilder. So I doubt he's afraid of you and what you can do. That one punch KO ain't gonna phase him. Mind you, he's been put out by Anthony Joshua. He's been knocked down twice by Big Bang Jang. He's gone to war with Joe Joyce and got put out there. He ain't afraid to get hit. But he's only been hit and put down by some of the biggest punchers in the world. That's it. If you ain't on that level, even if you close to it, you might not be able to do nothing with it. And that saving grace may go out the window. It can get sketchy. It can get really sketchy out here. I'm telling you, y'all better hope and pray that Hooney gets himself right, because it can get dangerous. Let me see. Or Welch, I'll be devil's advocate here and go for Wardley. Hey, if you do, hey, more power to you. Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but you might win some money if you go about that route. But I wouldn't. I would not. Because it depends on the growth of Fabio Wardley as to what this fight's going to be like. His growth has the potential to beat the likes of Joseph Parker, and has the potential to reach the upper echelon of the championship status with some of the biggest and most talented fighters in the heavyweight division today. I have no doubt about that. But his growth is also contingent on his ability to gain those aspects necessary in his arsenal. And right now, I don't see it happening. I don't. That's especially not against this cat. When it's the first time you're moving up and stepping up competition against Joseph Parker of all people. Oh gosh, I'm concerned. Let me see. Teddy Burchard, Wardley, 241 and taller, less tools, lower experience, not much amateur background. I don't see Wardley getting a buzzer beater. That's the only way I can see him winning. That's it. That's it. I just don't care who wins. I'm not a huge fan of either. I'm cheering for Andy Lee. Hey, look, I feel I'm a huge fan of Parker because, one, he beat Zhang, and I was really excited for Zhang to potentially get a shot at the title. I was really excited, but then we saw what happens. But regardless of which, Parker has done everything you wanted a boxer to do in terms of facing off against competition and going through and molding himself with the times. It's a beautiful thing. And I've grown to love him as a fighter. I really have. I really have. I really have. I never downplayed him. I mean, like, man, this cat say, he's ridiculous. What he's been able to do is, and who he's taking on. I mean, I can't do nothing but just laud and applaud. Because he put in work that, shoot, good players of the boxing world hasn't even put in their own right, from the standpoint of going through every single competent name that's almost possible in this division. It's insane. I can only give props to it. This is going to be a heavyweight clinic. It's all about how much punishment Wardley can take from a guy Joe's pedigree. Yeah. It's unless we see Wardley get a more educated jab, unless we see Wardley utilize that latent athleticism, it's there. He has the physical tools to make himself a boxer that not just can overwhelm you going forward, but can control distance on the back foot and with his range as an outboxer. I see that in him. He's got a strong enough jab that can be effective. He's got enough length and height on him that, yeah, he can stifle out some people. He's got enough speed that his utilization of the 1-2 combination or off a jab to set up whatever other shot can be a great weapon of tool when somebody's trying to be uber aggressive and when you want to systematically break somebody down with technique while keeping yourself safe. He can do it. I'm not saying he needs to change his style, but he can do it. He's got that ability in him, but he hasn't learned how to use it yet. His best attribute is absolutely running and gunning. I'm going to turn this into a slobber knocker, a slugfest, an absolute dogfight. It's his best attribute. But at the same time, it's his only attribute. He's leaning into what he can do, which I absolutely love. But it's to a point that he is neglecting the other things that I know would make his own style even better. And at this point in time, this ain't the fight to all of a sudden say, yep, I need to learn. It's still now or never. He's still young. He's still got a great future in the heavyweight division. It's just at this point that we saw the exposing of Wardley against Hooney, even in the victory. I'm telling you right now, Joseph Parker can finish that job. But if Wardley pulled this out, I'm telling you, you're not going to hear me hate. You're going to hear me being shocked, but you ain't going to hear me hate. I guarantee you that. Excuse me, I apologize. I promise you that. I promise you that. I promise you that. Let me see. I don't mind if Wardley wins, but I don't see it. Parker been robbed his opportunities, but with how boxing plays out, Wardley surprises all of us. You know what? I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. I'm still rooting for the underdog. Go Wardley. Yeah, look, Welch, I completely understand. Well, I always go for the underdog, but in this case, they're both underdogs fighting, even if Parker's the fake. Well, I don't know if they're both underdogs in this situation. Parker is an underdog for the Usyks, the Furies, and the upper tier of the elite of the elite. But under that, he's most likely seen as the third or fourth best heavyweight in the world. If you want to put a Talma above him from a skills perspective, fine. If you want to say because he doesn't have enough experience and knocking out Dillian White isn't enough, that's perfectly fine. You can put him at fourth. I have no issue there. Or at least around the top five. If you want to put Ajay Kabayel in there, sure. Okay. Because he isn't the experience aspect of it. No issue. But Joseph Parker is firmly in the top three. It is Usyk. It is, I would have said Fury, but Fury looks like he's staying retired. So I'm not even going to throw Fury in there. Daniel Dubois. Some would say yes, and then some would say how he got beat by Usyk. No. Joseph Parker. I don't really know who you would say would be better. You could argue he's the second best heavyweight in the world right now. You really can. You truly can. I don't think, but for this fight, I don't think he's underdog. It's Wardley's stage to prove something. It's Parker's opportunity to finally get the brass ring, but it's Wardley's chance to say, I've arrived. This is Wardley's stage to lose. Excuse me, it's Parker's, it's Wardley's stage to win. But most people don't think this brother's gonna win. I'm gonna be real. Most people don't think this brother's gonna win. As I take a sip of my drink real quick. Most people don't think he's gonna win it for good reason. For good reason. Good reason. It's gonna be bad. Let me see. I actually rather Wardley wins because I'm a British by birth. But I can't see. Hey, look, I completely get you. Like I said, root for your people, root for your guys, support who you want to support. And if Wardley won, I'm gonna tell you this right now, that would shake up a whole litany of things in the heavyweight division. That could lead to, but if Wardley does win. And again, let me be clear. We're going to talk about boots. That's coming. It's still the championship rounds for the entirety of the show. I'm telling you that right now. We just put this up because we're talking about the fight that's getting ready to happen tomorrow. But we're going to talk about boots and Crawford. I guarantee you that's what a lot of people are here for. We ain't going to avoid that. But with the situation of if Wardley wins this fight, that could set up two things. That could set up a fight with Alexander Usyk, like we covered earlier. Absolutely, he gets a shot at the World Championship. Undisputed is on his mind, and it could be around his waist within the span of 8 months. Absolutely. Or he goes, and if that fight with him and Usyk does not happen, he goes and he fights Moses Atama. He goes and he fights Atama.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems.
He does.
We got some problems here.
Because you have to look at it from this perspective. UK stardom, absolute lunacy from the standpoint of the hype surrounding Atama, which I completely understand. He's being pushed to be champion. Everybody knows this cat has something different in him. People are saying that fight, that win with Dillian White was a phenomenal win from a shot perspective, but he didn't prove a whole bunch about what he is as a fighter as a whole. Okay. You want to prove something? Put him against Wardley. Winner of that fight, if the fight with Usyk doesn't happen, then you get guaranteed one of two options. Either you get Fabio Wardley versus Usyk for the title, or you force Usyk into a situation where Atama is the full-blown mandatory. And he ain't going to be able to wait up until he's ready to fight him, or up until he feels that, Atama is now on the level, because then he'd be on the level. I told y'all, in less than 2 fights, we can see Atama become a championship contender, a number 1 contender, a mandatory contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, with Usyk holding the belt. Usyk said he's not going to retire up until he's 41 years old. Remember that. He's got 5 fights left. He just signed a deal. He's not going to retire until he's 41. He said that himself. Hypothetically, if he keeps on winning, the normal timeline that we could see Atama get to that level would be 3 years, 4 years, even by the end of that year 5. Sure, that would be the normal scope of progression. But the other wrinkle is Atama's got enough talent and he got enough backing by the whole of boxing to be able to have his position to get a championship not happen in 5 years, happen in 2. In simply 2 fights. 3 at max if he really wants to be active. That's the truth of the matter. This brother can come in, and all of a sudden, Wardley and Usyk talks fall through. That fight don't happen. Usyk hypothetically goes and fights Tyson Fury if Fury actually does come back. Even if that doesn't happen, Usyk sits on the sideline. We've seen champions do that before. Boom. Wardley still needs a fight. The talks ain't getting through with Usyk. Now you get Usyk versus Atama. Atama calls out Fabio Wardley. I want your spot in mandatory. Wardley says, I happily oblige. They go and fight in the UK. Got 60 to 80,000 people. But I'm not going to say it's going to be at Wembley Stadium. But doggone it, it's going to be at a big venue. Main event. Saturday afternoon. At least over here in the States. UK prime time, 9 o'clock. All of a sudden, you see Atama go and knock out Wardley. And if it's in a dominant fashion, oh my gosh. Well, Usyk, you got a challenge. And we want to see that next. What you going to do? And you already said, I'm not going to fight Moses Atama. Under the understanding, again, I'm just going into why he said this, that Moses Atama right now is not ready. Moses Atama right now is too young, too inexperienced, and isn't at the forefront of the championship conversation at this point, which is why Usyk was saying, I'm not going to fight him. Now, it's still bad that he said, I'm not going to fight him, because it still needs to be, if he shouldn't be that you're already shooting somebody down, regardless of where they're at right now. If he gets here, yeah, I'll take him on. But right now, he ain't here yet, so I'm not looking at him. That's a different sentiment than saying I'm not going to fight him at all. Again, got us concerned. It has us concerned that you're ducking. And you never talked like that before. So we're keeping a close eye. But if it gets to that road, yeah. You going to walk that back? Are you going to say, hey, y'all, yeah, I got to face him? Because he's in that position now. It can happen. I'm telling you all, it can happen. It can happen quick and in a hurry. Quick and in a hurry. And that would be a mega fight I would love to see. That would be a great fight I would love to see. Wardley versus Atama. Because if anything, that answers questions on both ends. Can Atama really handle the big threat level of contending status in this championship regime of heavyweight? Or, on the other end of the spectrum, sorry, I blinked out for a second. Or on the other end of the spectrum, Fabio Wardley now has to answer against somebody with the talents of Atama. When we have questions about you as a technical fighter, can you truly handle this level of legitimate raw ability? Or are you never going to be able to grow to reach that type of caliber? Because again, Atama brings a lot of things to the table that Wardley hates. And we're not deviating from the conversation of Parker versus Wardley. We're giving the trajectory of if Wardley wins, if Wardley gets this upset and Wardley takes this opportunity and capitalizes and becomes the man to beat Joseph Parker. Well, if it ain't Usyk and he don't fight Kabayel, I wouldn't be surprised if he fought Atama. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. And I'd welcome to see that fight. I'd welcome to see that, absolutely. No question about it. But again, we still are in the championship rounds. And we have a litany of things that we still need to discuss on this show. So we're going to get back into it. Again, we want your questions, your comments, your concerns, your opinions, all that stuff for you all to witness and enjoy, to have your conversations with while you're getting your stuff together. One, please keep on liking the stream if you're here. Get the likes up on this show if you haven't already, to make everybody see that this is the hottest place to be and the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. But also at the same time, we got to talk about Boots versus Crawford. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got to talk about that in the frame of, will it happen? we have to talk about it in the perspective of will that fight actually ever take place? Because off the backs of a conversation that we had when it came to hold on, wait a minute. Making sure I got something right. Hold on. Making sure we good. Since we had some situations where stuff goes out, I've been throughout the show, because I'm one man band. I'm checking everything to make sure I'm good. Make sure I'm doing what we do best. Also, real quick, I forgot to say something. Or Welch, are we related? Wait a second, do I got family over there in the UK? Wait a minute. Are you a long-lost relative? Shoot, hey, it's great. Any Welch that I see, I'm thinking, hey, are you me? Are you... Anybody with the Welch name, I'm thinking, oh shoot, hold on, I might know these people. And I was legit trying to think, wait a minute, is there somebody in my family over there? Maybe not, maybe so, maybe we're long lost. Whoever the case may be, hey, welcome to the family nonetheless. I'm happy you're here, regardless of which, hey, you got the name, so you must be good. That's all I gotta say. You got the name, so you must be good. But oh man, oh shoot, oh Lord, that's oh Lord, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. But again, we asked to continue with the rest. See, sometimes I have too much fun on this show. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I have too much fun on this show, and I am holding up progress. My gosh. Let me digress. Let me get myself like I need to be. Hold on. Let's okay. For the next for the next topic. And again, we're still piggybacking back and forth. It's still the championship round, so you all can guide the conversation and you all can say what you want on this show so we can have your voice be heard and seen for the masses to witness and enjoy. We want you to be a part of what this show is. And this whole show is dedicated to allow you to voice whatever questions, debates, and concerns, or not concerns, unless it's about a fighter. No, hopefully it's not about the show. But on anything you want to talk about in the realm of sports and beyond, this is your time to shine and have yourself control the narrative of what the show's going to be like. Absolutely. I want to hear what you got to say. But as we still got more topics that we can discuss, Boots versus Crawford, I need to ask, will this fight actually happen? I really do. I need to ask this. And I want to ask it to you all, the public. And also, let me see, Or Welch, yeah, I think we're all related. Great show. Go Wardley. It's time for me to go. So I'll see you next show. Hey man, I appreciate you coming through. Glad that you're here with us. Glad that you came out. Leave a like before you leave. And anybody who's coming in, hey, welcome here. I'm happy to get here. If you gotta go, you can go on ahead. If you want to stay, feel free to stay. Come in and out. I don't care what you do. As long as you making yourself a product of this show, I'm just happy that you're here along for the ride. And hopefully we're making your Friday even better. Also, Just Do Boxing. Yo, what's good with you, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming through. Back on the show with us today. We switching gears now, talking about Crawford versus Boots. We just got finished talking about Wardley versus Justice. So any final predictions, final thoughts, final things for trajectories as time goes forward in both of their respective careers in the results with this win. We now got to talk about Boots versus Crawford. Will this fight actually happen? Off the backs of a conversation that we had, not just with Usyk versus Moses Talma, but also with Canelo and what's next in his career. And Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, all those names that we discussed got me thinking about Terrence Crawford. And more specifically, with all of the rhetoric surrounding what he's going to do, looking to the future, will this fight actually take place with Crawford and Boots? Will Crawford stay around long enough for this fight between Crawford and Boots to actually take place? That's the question. And on top of that, the bigger question, does Crawford need Boots in his career? That's the question. It's a two-pronged thing. Will it happen? And does Crawford need it? Now, when I say need it, understand, his legacy is set in stone. We are not going to act like that we're saying that Crawford is nothing without Jerron Ennis. Well, we ain't doing that at all. Understand, he's faced off against Spence. He faced off against Porter, Amir Khan, Kalavaskas, Ricky Burns, Gamboa, Israel Majimov, Canelo Alvarez. And if I didn't say Spence, I'll say it again. He beat Spence when Spence was seen as the best at welterweight, outright, by the majority of people. We're not going to act like that Crawford needs to do more to have a legacy that's worth talking about. No, he's already, in my opinion, the 10th best fighter I've ever seen, or in that top 10 for the 10 best fighters I've ever seen in boxing history, on my list. For a lot of people as well. But even in that vein, with it still being work to do, with them being now seen truly as, oh my gosh, I don't know who can stop this brother. We got to say, hey, since Boots is being consistently talked about, now that he's here and seemingly actively doing the work to get undisputed at 154 and to eventually move up to 160 and to eventually move up to 168, well, we got to ask the question. Will we actually see it? Or will this be a dream of a fight that just never actually materializes? Where it was just too off time. Now, if you want to say that, oh, they were both at 147, oh, the fight should have happened, well, also, you got to pump the brakes there. Where Crawford was at 147 from a ranking standpoint and from a championship caliber, Boots wasn't at. We saw the talent. We saw the ability. We understood, oh my gosh, he can get there. We were talking about he can absolutely be a dangerous threat to the likes of Crawford and Boots at that point in time. But the conversation wasn't with him in the vicinity. But it was rapidly moving up, especially after he beat Roman Villa. Then, goes up. Crawford beats Spence, dominates him. And as you saw in the interview with Andre Ward, he then said, oh, wait a minute. The more I look at this Canelo fight, hey, I think I can actually take him. I'm not standing around at 154 anymore. I'm going after big fish. Now, or I'm not standing around at 147 anymore. I beat everybody I could. Now I'm going after big fish. I'm going after 168. Moving up, then moved up again. Did what he needed to do. Absolutely. But after he had moved up was when Boots was, okay, yeah, now he's here. Now he's there. But then Crawford already went on to achieve greater greatness, and then greater greatness again when he beat Canelo. And so they were just off the timing of being able to fight each other, where it was, okay, you're here now, you've arrived. You got the cachet, you got the talent, you got the ability, you got the marketability, you have the threat level, you got the amount of belts, you got everything you need, and you got a resume that's worth talking about. Okay, let's get it on. That type of situation. Now at this stage, Boots is ramping up, but Crawford is the tail end. Will that fight actually take place? Let me see. Just do boxing, it won't happen. Boots staying at 154, and Crawford said he done at 154. I don't see Boots meeting Crawford at 160, unfortunately. And honestly, that's where the biggest question lies. Crawford, I would give Crawford, with his insanity of a physical specimen, I'd give him, he's got about 2 years of this dominant peak of boxing. Right now, he looks the best he's ever looked. Outside of that fight with Spence. And he's 38 years old. Preposterous. I dare say he can keep this prime up for upwards of 2 or 3 years. Fighting like this, especially at 160, that's unlocked a better avenue of athletic ability. 168 especially, where we saw what he was able to do. All of a sudden, I could just fill out and be me. Oh gosh. Now I'm strong enough to rock Canelo. That's ridiculous. But that also predicates on there's a 3-year window for Boots to get up to Crawford's level from the standpoint of weight class. And now we're saying, how quickly can he accomplish his goals at the divisions that he's at? How quickly can he get to, I did what I need to do at 154. Now I'm going up to 160. How quick can he do it? If we want to be conservative, it's probably going to take, 4 fights? It's probably going to take 4 fights. And that normally that would be good. No problem. 4 fights at a division. Take on all the names, do whatever you need to do, yada, 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 and you're good to go. However, if we try to make this fight happen, it's probably going to have to be 3 or less. It's probably going to have to be 3. It's probably going to have to be this fight, and then a fight with Virgil Ortiz next, which again is being talked about. It's being seen as that. I think that's what's going to happen. That looks like what's going to come down the line, which is good, which is great, which I'm excited for. Hey, I love that. I love that. I love that. Love it. I absolutely do. But at the same vein, then he's got to be the world champion. And then after that, all right, I'm going at the 160, straight up. And I'm going to put myself in the insert for Janibek, Lara, and Crawford. Ultimately, if what it looks like to be true is true, that Crawford moves down to 160 and goes after those belts. Instead of defending at 154, at 168, excuse me. So with following that train of thought of a hypothetical road, Boots can move as fast as he wants to move if he really wants to get this fight under his belt. We're going to talk about the Crawford end of the spectrum. But for Boots, he can control how quickly he can get that fight with Crawford based on his urgency to get the business handled at 154. It's based on his urgency. And we got to be real. It's most likely going to have to be. Well, 3 fights, maybe a little bit too stringent. We'll say 5. But it's got to be upwards of potentially 3 a year if he can make it happen. It's got to be that he goes Virgil, he fought Lima. Boom, that's 1. Virgil Ortiz, if that fight takes place, which looks like it's going to happen. That's 2. Then after that, Fundora or Keith Thurman. That's 3. Whichever one of them. That you got to take another belt. Unified. That's 4. And then foregoing trying to become undisputed for the sake of who you're trying to fight, you move up to 160. You then go. And you take a fight, not in a tune-up. You take a fight for the number 1 mandatory. Because at that point in time, Crawford would have moved down. Janibek and Lara would have already fought. Winner would have been the unified champ. Crawford comes down. Looks to take that belt. And now we're looking at a situation, if Crawford does win and beat either Janibek or Lara, which again would be ridiculous. In terms of that would be incredible. It would be Crawford's got 2 belts. And the other people got 2. He's either 1 vacant, 1 champion, or 2 champions outright that are left. Boots can come through, take those other 2 belts, and now you fight Crawford, Boots, undisputed, 160. Omaha, Nebraska, Dallas, Texas, Miami, New York, Madison Square Garden. I don't care where that fight's going to be at. That's going to be the biggest fight of the year. That's going to be the biggest fight of the year. And that would have to happen in 5 fights. That would have to happen in 5 fights. That would be the 5-fight plan. If everything went correctly, I could see going through. But it's like Boots got to be dedicated to that. Boots has to be dedicated to it. If Boots wants this fight, and he really does want it to happen, he's got to put in the expedited work to get and meet Crawford while Crawford is still Terrence Crawford, before Crawford gets out of here, which we don't know when. We don't. So we gotta be real. We gotta be real. But let me see. Vaughn Grenier, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on. So glad you're with us on today. And we do indeed enjoy all of you coming in and showing up. Please, again, keep on liking the stream, keep on sharing the show, keep on doing what you do when it comes to making the show bigger and better and grander, and letting everybody know that this is the place to be for everybody in sports fandom, not just with boxing, but just in general. It's the hottest show on the globe, and you don't want to miss what we got in store every single week. Absolutely. But again, I digress. I do digress, because on the other end of the spectrum, which I do need to make sure that we... Is it? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Okay, there we go. I just had to check something real quick. Just had to check something quick. Okay, we're good. But let me see. Vaughn Grenier, that fight won't happen. In my opinion, it's almost like saying Canelo would take the Benavidez fight. But see, it's different though. This is different though. Unlike with Benavidez and Canelo, Benavidez was there. Benavidez was right there. And Canelo just straight up ran from him. This is Boots and Crawford were always in conversations with each other. But by the time one got into position or was getting ready to get into a position, such as Boots, Crawford did the biggest thing in his career and was gunning for Canelo immediately. And went after and moved up to 154 like that. After already cleaning out the rest of welterweight. Outside of Boots, who again was talked about as, hey man, this man's up and coming. This man can get to Crawford. This man can be a major threat to Crawford, but he wasn't. He was the threat. He wasn't there yet. But he was close, but he wasn't there. It never lined up from the standpoint of, hey, there's no reason that this fight shouldn't have a tight situation. It makes sense from all perspectives, or at least just from one perspective outside of, oh, it'd be a great talent versus another great talent. Everything, or at least 2/3 of the things that needed to make sense weren't there. And we saw what Crawford was trying to do, going at the Spence. That was his goal. And he had to do a bunch of work to get to that. Canelo and Benavidez, Canelo was at the top and Benavidez was right behind him. For 3 years, Benavidez was seen as the second best super middleweight in the world. For 3 years, Benavidez at 168 was seen as the biggest threat to Canelo, not just from a hype perspective, but from an ability perspective, from an accolade standpoint, and from a truly, this man's got your number and he's in position to fight you. This is not like Canelo versus Benavidez, because they were in position to fight for 3 years. And that fight should have happened. And Canelo, as well as the WBC, is the reason why that fight never took place. Crawford and Boots, they didn't get to that same zenith of, okay, we're both at this playing field now. It's time to fight. Boots is now at a standpoint where, okay, he is legit. He now is widely considered not just the best, wasn't not just the best welterweight at that point in time, became unified champion, got accolades, went on and moved up to 154. Okay, boom. This is now the window where you and Boots are no longer just a pipe dream of a fight that you can be something serious. Oh, that would be a spectacle. Now it's okay. All right. We want to see that fight now. That fight should be made at some point in time. But now the positioning is out of whack because of where Crawford is and where Boots is right now. Partially because Boots wasted time waiting to go up to 154. He could have already been at 154 over a year ago after he fought against Stanionis, but he went through and said, I need to tune up. I'm going to stay at 154. I'm going to move up. He honestly could have moved up after Shukajan at 154, but he didn't because he was wishy-washy. And he said, I need to go. And then he said, nope, I'm going to stay. We covered that whole thing on this show. He kept to his word, yes, but at the same vein, he was able to go where he wanted to go. Right then and there, because he said he needed to in the first place. Now, Boots has to work because he's got the key, but now he's got to get to the front door. He's got to get to the front door now. It used to be, hey man, you're going to earn this key to open this door to get a chance to walk into the house. But now, but he didn't have the key yet. Now he's got the key. Now everybody says, okay, we want you to walk into the house, but you wasted time. And that driveway got longer and longer. Now it's a longer walk up there. And you better hope that you get to the door in time before this house gets foreclosed. Boots got to step his consistency in fighting up to make sure he can get Crawford while Crawford's still at the top. And before somebody else potentially gets him, or before we see a decline. Because you don't want no asterisk behind what happens if you win or lose. You don't want that. That's why this fight is not like Canelo and Benavidez. Because this fight never lined up nearly in that same way. And Boots has the ability now to work his way to get to that same standing that Benavidez was with Canelo, where it's unavoidable. But he's got to put in that work. But let me see. Boxing Wiz, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Who do you like in a parlay? Or excuse me, who do you like in Parker versus Wardley? I think Parker is going to knock out Fabio Wardley. I truly do. I think Parker's going to knock out Wardley. I think he's going to knock him out. We covered that in the first, hour of the show? I think he's going to knock him out. He should knock him out. He's a better fighter. He's coming in to be more imposing, to push Wardley on the back foot. He's got better speed in him. He's got the power that can really damage him and do more damage than what Justice Huni did. He's got the agility and the instincts to be able to slip and get out the way. He's a hard butter to not just to keep down, but he's a hard butter to figure out, especially when he starts getting going. He's got to get gas tank for days. He can be physical. Hand speed is underrated, if I'm being completely honest. With his ability to punch and trade and catch you off guard. Yeah, it is. Especially that overhand right. Oh, gosh, that thing is horrifying to watch. He can be the thing that's a wake-up call for Parker or for Wardley to say, hey, man, I need to change. Because if he doesn't, the same way that he got beat, that he was getting beat by Justice Huni, he's going to get beaten the same way by Parker. But this time, it's not going to be a Hail Mary shot that gets him out of there. It's not going to be a Hail Mary that gives him the grace to keep on, oh, I'm still undefeated. And that ain't happening. Most likely that ain't happening. He got the power. He's got the power to do it now. He does. But I don't think it's going to happen. Because you're dealing with a smarter fighter, a more experienced fighter. And now a fighter with a second win in his career who's looking insanely great. And you are vulnerable with your defense. A lot of vulnerabilities. And a fighter like him is going to be able to take advantage of. A fighter like Joseph Parker is going to be able to take advantage of in very dominating fashion. It can get bad. It can get very bad for Fabio Wardley in this fight. He truly can. He really can. And we say, I think Parker makes it look easy. I do too. Well, I'm not going to say easy. It ain't going to be easy. There ain't no fight with Fabio Wardley that's easy. I can tell you that right now. There ain't no fight with Fabio Wardley that's an easy fight. Unless you're Usyk, ain't no fight with Fabio Wardley is going to be an easy outing. Even Justice Hooney going in and doing what he did against Wardley, that wasn't easy. He was dominating. It wasn't easy though. Because he still had to worry about something every time he was coming in slipping. And he was slipping, again, by the skin of his teeth. It was insanely good defense, but my gosh, you got to be attentive. This man will not stop throwing. Again, the UK Deontay Wilder. It ain't going to be an easy fight. But we're going to see that there are indeed levels. And if Wardley proves me wrong, great, no problem. No issue. No dilemma. Criticism is going to be criticism, but you ain't going to hear me take away that win. You ain't going to hear me say that Parker was just an average Joe. Oh, he wasn't that good. No, this is going to be a great win. It's going to be a phenomenal win. If it happens, but I don't think it will. I really don't. But on the other end of the spectrum, for this conversation with Crawford and Boots, will it happen? With Crawford, does he need him? Does he need him? In fact, I can change it. I can change the title card. I'll change the title card. We'll adapt on the fly. We will adapt on the fly. Hold on, wait a minute. We're gonna do this right. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Now once I get a team, this is gonna be a lot more quick and exciting. But regardless of which, still, great topic for discussion. Great topic. And again, it's still the hold on. It's still the championship rounds now. Hold on. Just to be clear, it's still the championship rounds. It's still the championship rounds. You all still drive the conversation. For those of you who are listening, we're still letting people control where this show's gonna go. Absolutely. And questions, comments, debates, opinions, all that stuff, things you want to talk about, talking points, fights that you want to discuss, NBA action, NFL action, movie, sports, television, video games, all that stuff. Whatever you want to discuss, we can talk about it right here on this show. It's a sports-centric show, but we can branch out to a certain degree. But even still, I want to hear what you all got to say. But is... And Al Booger, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy you're with us on today. And Al Booger says, agreed, Parker easily outboxes and maybe even stops Wardley. Then he goes on to say, that's a crazy question, LOL, respectfully. And again, hey, we got to have some shock value when we want to get people involved on the conversation. Hey, look. Hey, all of a sudden, you got your feelings. You got your emotions are bubbling. Everything feels out of whack. How dare he question if Bud needs Boots ever? Absolutely. I know. See, this was the discourse I was looking for. I'm not asking this just for clickbait, though. I'm not asking this for clickbait. But it piggybacks with everything we were discussing with other fighters. This piggybacks off of an older conversation of the non-negotiables in people's career. The people that, I don't care what else you do, you have to fight X, Y, Z. Regardless of whatever else happens in your career, once you reach a certain level, because that is the man. That's the biggest opposition to you, that the public and even your peers all see, hey, there's no avoiding this challenge. And if you do avoid it, it's going to hinder what your legacy is. Now, like I said at the start of this whole segment, I am not saying that Crawford needs Boots from the perspective of his legacy is going to be done in without it. He is still on my list as one of the 10 greatest boxers I have ever seen. Be clear on that. However, is Boots Ennis a non-negotiable fighter for Crawford's career, even at this late stage. Even at this late stage. Because of the attachment that Boots and Crawford have had for the majority of Crawford's reigning at the top and Boots' rise in the boxing world, starting from welterweight and going on up. When it was, oh, this buddy, he's coming. He's on his way. Everybody better look out. He's going to be a threat. He's a poor man's Boots. He's got the tendencies of Roy Jones Jr. You see the ability, the speed. He's punching in slow motion. He's going through and doing all this crazy stuff and looking, turning his head and then acting out. And they go, oh, it's an insane thing. We see it. We love it. We laud it. His knockout against Lima, though it was an opponent he was supposed to beat. And though it was a man who he was supposed to handle, but that still sent shockwaves throughout the rest of the division. Oh my gosh, I don't think we've seen anybody handle Lima this way, even though he's fodder for Boots. This was still a top 10 ranked fighter, and he ended it in 1:59 seconds. Less than 2 minutes. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We are not trying to say that Boots brings down Crawford's legacy if Crawford doesn't fight him. But is it a situation where this fight, we should not see this career end without that fight happening? Should it be like that? Is this like a Larry Holmes? Well, I was going to say, is this like a Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali situation? But that's a lot different because Ali came back, I believe, out of retirement to fight Larry Holmes for Larry Holmes' title. Larry Holmes didn't even want to fight him. It was well and good that Ali had Parkinson's, was well and good out of his prime, was done in this sport. And Larry Holmes, who had been the guy that was like, hey, this brother is the closest thing we got to Ali. Because he trained with Ali for his entire career. And his whole style, the Eastern Assassin, was predicated on the greatest. You can see it. That was more like an Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya type of fight. Though a lot more visceral. But that was like Anderson Silva, not Arizona Laura. That fight was more like Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya. This fight with Boots and Crawford, we're not saying Boots is out of his prime. Sure enough ain't saying Crawford ain't out of his prime. Though Crawford's older. We are now at the stage with Boots where he has been validated of what his talent is, at least at 147, to the point that we all clamor for that fight at 160 with Boots or with Crawford. We understand he's got to get there. And we understand he's got work to do, which we just covered what work he's got to do to get there. And it's predicated on he can meet Crawford for undisputed at 160 within 5 fights if he really pressed to do it. If he really pressed to do it. Crawford beats winner of Janabek versus Laura, like I said before. And there's 2 other belts up for grabs. Boots takes those other 2 after at least becoming unified at 154. Now, you set up an undisputed title fight. And it's still within the window of about that 2 or 3 year prime that I see Crawford still having as being this type of fighter. Where he's still, anybody who beats him at this stage is going to be insane. Because he's that much of a specimen. He's that much of a physically gifted athlete that's been able to retain his prime for so long. Yeah, I can see it going on for 3 more years, especially if it's only 1 fight a year as time digresses. So I'm like, hey, it makes sense now But does he need Boots as a non-negotiable? I want to hear from you all on that question and topic of conversation. Let me see. I can. Okay, yeah, I can dig it. Talk about the question. It would have been awesome if Bud and Boots agreed to do it at 160. I just don't see that happening anytime soon. The thing is, either or neither Boots nor Bud seem like they want to fight. I'll address. Let me keep reading. I'll address that. Let me see. I like the comparison. Oh, the Ali Holmes, Adesanya, Anderson comparison. Yeah, that was a good one. I had to make sure I had it right. But yeah, that was a good one. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, look, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. That was a good comparison. That was a good comparison. But still, would you like to see Prime Spider versus Prime Last Airbender? I like Prime Spider. Oh no, if Prime, that would have been great. Mind you, Adesanya was nearly at his prime when he fought Anderson Silva. He was still, turning into, not the last Airbender, excuse me. He was still turning into the Avatar, from the last Airbender show. But he was turning into the Avatar moniker. But he hadn't gotten there just yet. But they were both at the same level, respected to where each of their talents were in the rise and moving. Okay, old guard, new guard, older champion who was at the top but now is degraded. That's why that fight happened when it did. It made sense. But I'm taking Anderson Silva. Unless now, Chris Weidman thing could happen. He gets caught and he gets put out. Yeah, absolutely. Because Adesanya is an incredible striker. But man, Anderson Silva at his peak, when he was undefeated, 11 straight title defenses, I believe it was 11 straight, is one of the 3 greatest MMA fighters that's ever existed. There's an argument Anderson Silva is the Roy Jones of MMA. Let's be real. Excuse me, let's be real. There's an argument Anderson Silva is the Roy Jones of MMA. From the standpoint of when he came in, he literally changed the game, and his style wasn't able to be replicated except by one man. The Boots of MMA, Israel Adesanya. I think I would assume that's a pretty fair comparison. Which is, it's not a degradation, it's a testament. It is a testament. But let me see. But what was it? Whoa, I done forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, Prime Spider, Prime Adesanya, last air. It's not Avatar. It's the last air. Yeah, Last Airbender from Avatar. My bad. Apologies. I love the show. Watch the show over and over. Yes, his nickname is the Last Airbender. Why was I thinking it was the Avatar? Probably because he did that pose. Regardless of which, I got Spider beating Adesanya if they ever fought against each other in their prime. That man was, that was a different breed. That was a different breed. Adesanya, as good as he was not that. He wasn't that. He wasn't that. He wasn't that. I'm telling you, that was ridiculous. But let me see. Let Boots fight and beat Canelo, then fight. But I mean, he sparred with Canelo. We saw the sparring images, and we got some footage in some of the documentaries. But like we saw, he was able to do some damage on Canelo, at least to some degree. We saw he tried to help prep Canelo for Boots, though. How much good that did him? Hey, didn't do a lick. But regardless, he's been in the ring with some of the biggest names in the world. Him moving up to 168, I mean, that would be ridiculous. Could he do it? One fight, move up to 168. Hey, Crawford, I'm calling you out now. He could try to take that same route. He could try. Will it work? Hopefully. Hopefully. But with how Boots is moving, I don't think it's going to happen. That would be insane if all of a sudden he said, hey, I'm moving up to 168 today, but let's make this fight next year. That would be insane. He just tried to skip the line and got it. Oh, shoot. Ridiculous. Preposterous. Absolutely phenomenal. For if it took place, excuse me. But let me see. G-Ball, yo, what's going on? Hey, G-Ball, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. So glad you're with us on today for this incredible episode. Again, it's the championship rounds. You all still are driving the conversation. You all still are driving the output. You all are still in control of everything that we do going on with this show from the standpoint of getting your thoughts, your opinions, your debates, your discussions, everything under the sun in regards to having your voice be heard and your conversations molding what this show's going to be. So I still want to hear what you all have to say on the matter. But let me read what you got to say real quick as we are still going. Okay, as we are still going through. Let me see. Just like Canelo had all these excuses not to fight Benavidez, Bud is now doing the same thing to Boots. Bud is ducking Boots. Well, see, that's a bold-faced lie. Respect the opinion. That's a bold-faced lie. I respect the opinion, absolutely. But that's just a bold-faced lie. That's just a bold-faced lie. Was Canelo ducking Crawford when Crawford tried to fight, was wanting to fight him at 168 from 154? This isn't a duck. The man went after Israel Madrimov, moved up in weight after beating the biggest fight of his career, then moved up again to fight Canelo. Boots could have already been at 154 after Shukajan, but he chose to stay at 147. There is a real opportunity where a window was open, where Boots and Bud were at 154 with Boots holding the title. And Boots could have stepped in the way of this whole campaign and gotten Boots at 154. It could have happened. That year off that Crawford took, if Boots was at 154 by the Sugar John fight, that could have been filled with Boots versus Crawford. It could have been filled with Boots versus Crawford if Boots had actually moved and made a decision. But he didn't. He cost himself that opportunity. He did. There was a goal. He missed it. There was a goal and he missed it. He absolutely missed it. He went after Stanley Otis. I have no issue there. Beat a great fighter. Became unified. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to diminish that, but I'm telling you, there was a chance. There was a chance that he could have been unavoidable. There was a chance that he could have been the guy. Or the guy in front of Boots, but he didn't. And so, I don't know what to tell you, but that is a bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced lie. He ain't ducking. Would you say anybody is ducking? Somebody from 3 weight classes down? Are we saying that Boots is ducking Tank? Are we saying that Tank is ducking anyway? We can say that he's ducking a whole bunch of stuff, because he is. We're not going to go out and say he's ducking anyway, because anyways at 122, come up to 135, and now go, we ain't saying that, are we? We ain't. Because that's ignorant. From the perspective of that is, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But let me see, where are all the Canelo haters who were talking mess about Canelo not fighting Benavidez? Keep that same energy towards Bud fighting Boots. But there's no energy to be kept. Again, there's no energy to be kept. Canelo still ducked and is still ducking Dave Benavidez. What else is there? I don't know what hey. We still got a problem.
We got some problems here.
You better be careful, because you're going to bring up a whole other conversation, because Canelo's still ducking Benavidez. Even now, without a belt. Without a belt. In a fight that he was, let's be real, Canelo should have won that fight from the standpoint of on paper. He had everything advantage-wise, size-wise, everything that he was doing against every other bigger opponent than him outside of Bebo, he should be able to handle with ease. Him beating Charles the way he did, nobody thought that Crawford, most people did not, I picked Crawford, but most people did not have Crawford. As you can't overcome that size difference, the power, the body attack, all that stuff. Lo and behold, we saw what happened. And it was the very and we thought that Canelo was unbeatable at 168 outside of Benavidez, which is why we wanted Benavidez to fight him. But now Crawford changed all them plans. But guess what? That don't change the fact you still gotta fight David Benavidez, especially now more than ever, because you gotta show you really like that now. Not saying that you never were, but now, hey brother, what's the excuse? Now you gotta fight him for his belts at 175 if you want a shot at Benavidez. You gotta go into his territory because you didn't let him go into yours. And the WBC also helped you out. So you messed up. And now your back is against the wall, and there's the only way to get your face back is either fight Canelo or fight Crawford. Which you ain't, that look like that ain't gonna happen. Because we don't want to see a rematch. Or you move up to 175 and you fight Benavidez for his title. He's a champ now. He done beat former champs now. He done beat one of the other bigger threats to 168 when all three of y'all were around in David Morrell. And now he's fighting Anthony Yard. He beats Anthony Yard. Then it's Bebo for 175 undisputed. Then at that point, what you gonna do? He becomes undisputed. Hey, brother, I got what you couldn't take, and I beat who you couldn't beat. People are saying I wouldn't have lost to Canelo like that, or people are saying I wouldn't have lost to Crawford like that. Even Crawford's own team was saying that Benavidez is just way too big. We can beat Canelo. We ain't facing off against that, brother. Couldn't have been me. But if you think it would have been me, to come up and prove it and come fight me. That's what he could do, but he won't. Guys, he's ducking David. Ducking David. Double D. Ducking David. That's what he's doing. He's ducking David. He's ducking the monster. He's keeping the closet closed instead of facing the monster in his closet. He ain't looking under the bed to face off against the monster that's trying to get him. Because if he don't fight him, he's going to get him regardless. Because there's going to be, your legacy diminishes. Which is why we were saying, Crawford versus Boots. Is this a necessary fight for Boots? Or excuse me, is this a necessary fight for Crawford? And does Bud need Boots? Because is this a fight, in you all's opinion, that is a non-negotiable affair that before his career is over, we got to see that fight happen. Because the first fight was indeed Spence versus Crawford. That was Crawford's non-negotiable. He had to face off against that. He had to. His career would have been seen as incomplete if he never fought against Spence. And he took care of that with flying colors. After that, the second non-negotiable. Normally fighters have two in their career, 2 or 3. Which one is it for this one? And is it Boots for the second one? Canelo was shocked. That wasn't a non-negotiable. That was a shock. That's a stupid move. If you achieve this, yeah, you're gonna be talked about. But brother, you shouldn't move up that far. But because you did, and because you did it, and because you won, you get the fruits of insane labor. But we weren't clamoring for that fight because we thought it was out of the realm possibility. What is in the realm might be Boots Ennis. Again, in this situation we're predicated on if Boots can get up there. But it could be really possible that Boots may be the second non-negotiable fight in Crawford's career. Not saying that in this situation it will take away from Crawford's career. Unlike with other non-negotiables. Again, Crawford, with the way he went about his career, has put himself in a very nuanced position. Well, the other biggest threat that people say they want to see him fight against, if the fight never happened, it would not hurt Crawford. Because, again, of the context behind everything that makes this fight so tantalizing, but also why this fight has not happened yet. It's a unique situation. And so it could be that Boots could, for a non-negotiable, he is still, we want to see it. But it's one of those non-negotiables that if we don't see it, dang, it might not bring him down that much, if at all. Because again, of the insane feat of what he didn't fight Boots for. Oh gosh. And ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But let me keep on reading. Boots ain't even talking about Bud. Yeah, he's not. Because like I said, he's not moving down to 154. He's not going, most likely he ain't never going below 160. He's never going below 160 ever again. I can almost guarantee he's never going below 160. With how he felt and how he looked and how he said his body reacted, he's never going down to 160 again. Or going down below 160 again. I can almost guarantee you that. It's not to mention that Butts can't reach out to Boots' team during the BOK Prime situation. They wanted to stay loyal to Showtime. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That did happen. So give me 2 or 3 big fights for Bud that people will want to watch and call 50-50 fights. Okay, Janibek versus Crawford. That's 1. Janibek Crawford versus Laura. That's 2. Shoot, if we see Virgil Ortiz and then move up to 150, move up to 160, because Virgil Ortiz said he wanted to fight at 160 and to face off against Crawford, that's 3. Oh, by the way, Benavidez has also said if he can fight, or Benavidez has still, though he's been flip-flopping, he has said he's been open to going back down to 168 to fight against people. And people will bring it up, Benavidez versus Crawford as a fight at 168 if Crawford wants to defend his belt. That's 4. Bevo, people bringing up Bevo versus Crawford. Don't forget, Bevo with back surgery might not be able to be at 175 anymore because his physicality might be compromised. You lose a lot when you have back surgery. And it might be that he can't, lo and behold, when he comes back, he may not be the same brother. And he might have to move down to 168 by force, not by choice. And because of that, due to muscle loss, due to less ability to be as mobile, the things that made you great at 175 might not be the thing that you can do anymore, and you might have to go back down to 168. Guess what? That's a big fight. That's 5. The world. And if you want to say he should go back down to 154, okay, fine. Bowachuck. That's 6. Adams. That's 7. Fundora. That's 8. Keith Thurman. That's 9. Tim Tszyu. That's 10. You're out. There's plenty of people. Carlos Adames at 160, that's 11. Want me to keep going? Edgar Berlanga at 168. Shit, Hamza Shiraz at 168. That's 13. That's what, 12 or 13? Bowachuck. If we see Bowachuck ever move up to 160, or if you want him to move down to 154, boom. What else you want? Christian and Billy. 14. Martinez. 15. There's fights to be made beyond Boots. A rematch with Canelo. I don't care if we don't want to see it or not. That's a fight that still would outpay all of them. And people would still go and see it. Strictly because it's Canelo. Strictly because it's Canelo. Even though that fight was a complete one-sided affair. That's 16 names that aren't named Boots that he can go through. 2 of which are on the road to undisputed. Lara and Janibek. He can beat both of them. And then beat Carlos Adames, who I think has a 3rd belt. Boom. Unified champ. 4th belt for undisputed. Whoever. Don't matter. There are Charlo. I almost forgot about Charlo. Between 160 or 168, whichever one. Jermell Charlo, not just the older brother, not just the bigger one, but the smaller one. At 154, who already fought at 168. Guess what? He can fight at 160. I don't care if you think it's going to be a fight that's going to be one-sided, which it will be on both instances, but it's still a big fight that would want to be made, and people would say, oh, I want to see it. Boots, from a talent perspective, may look like the biggest threat level, but I'm telling you, there are a plethora of fights to be made. Also, because Crawford is now the cash cow. Everybody wants Crawford. Everybody across divisions wants Crawford. Because Crawford just showed I can fight across divisions. I'm not moving back down to 154. There's plenty of fighters at 154 that would be willing to move up to 160. More than willing. More than able. They were just looking for an opportunity to make sense. Most of them should be 160 pounders. Let's be real. Let's be real. But as we know, cutting weight the way that they do, fighting below what your natural weight is why we get people able to balloon up to 180, but fight at 120. Or rather fight at like 147, 154. All of a sudden, he's 190 on the night of the fight. All of a sudden, he's 185. 160 getting up to 200. But that's a whole other issue in conversation. But even still, the ability to fight a plethora of people are there for the masses to see. And for the masses to want to actively take part in and witness. But issue is between Boots and Crawford. He's not the only one. He is not the only one that's there, I'm telling you. I promise you. But let me keep reading what you had to say. If I was David Benavidez, I would try to pursue the Canelo fight and try to be the first fighter to stop or KO. I would too. Hey, look, you ain't wrong about that. That would be a great opportunity to take. No question about that. That would still be something huge. Because that fight is still one of the most wanted fights in all of the globe. And now more than ever, it's got fuel because people now see, oh my gosh, if we thought that was a 50-50 fight but before, or if we thought Canelo was better than Benavidez before, that's changed immensely. I dare say there's an opportunity that we can see Canelo being the underdog in this fight against David Benavidez. You understand that there's a real opportunity that we can see Canelo being the underdog in this fight for David Benavidez. Absolutely. Absolutely. From an odds perspective and just from an outright fan input. He might not be the favorite going into that fight with Benavidez anymore. Genuine. With substance behind it, not just odds in the favor. Like it can. I definitely would want to have that fight. I definitely would. It's just the fact. Benavidez, I will say, has said he's not moving down to 168, and then said that he's willing to move down to 168. He is open to fight everybody. However, in this specific instance, I would like to have a little bit more definitive sentiments of where Benavidez said he's willing to meet Canelo. Because he said, yes, I'm done. I'm over him. I'm making my own legacy. No question. I got the belts now. And most recently, he said that I'm fighting at 175. And if Canelo wants my stuff, he's going to come up here. He's got to come up here, excuse me. I'm not going down there for that. You got to come up here and do what I do now. Because I'm in control. I got the keys. I got the driver's seat. I'm the one that owns this car. I'm the one that owns this house. You got to come to my door, not the other way around. Especially now. But I'm not going to lie. He can do it. I'm going to tell you something right now. He can do it. You may think I'm crazy, but he can do it. If we can see Terrence Crawford rock Canelo just in the last 30 seconds with punch placement, we could theoretically see, especially with some of the bad stuff that we see with Canelo I'm not going to say bad stuff defensively because that was a good Canelo that we saw. But that volume of Benavidez could get a stoppage. And if it did happen at 168, I'd be more inclined to say that would be the case. But at 175, which most likely is where that fight would actually happen, we would then see the same way that we saw Crawford not be affected by Canelo's punches would be the same thing with Benavidez. Because he's taking on people at 175 now, consistently. He is a full-fledged 175 pounder. Just like Bebo was unaffected by the power, Benavidez is going to be the same way. And he's going to be able to walk down Canelo and do whatever he wants. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. And my gosh, it is horrifying to think about. It's horrifying to think about. Absolutely. Let me see. Canelo beats Benavidez by KO in the late rounds. Now, if that's how you feel, hey, no problem there. Like I said, I want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. But I don't think he KOs him. I don't think he stops him. Benavidez now, he's too good. He's too good. Benavidez is too good now. We have witnessed this man evolve as a technical fighter over the course of his stint at light heavyweight, and has already solidified himself as the third best light heavyweight in the world. I will hold out. You know what? Let me backtrack. He's almost too good for Canelo to beat. He's almost too good for Canelo to beat. Because Canelo's still Canelo. But I'm going to say this right now. If we see him handle Anthony Yarde with ease from a physicality standpoint, with how we talked about Anthony Yarde hasn't progressed properly as a fighter, but with just what he is, was able to take Arthur Beterbiev to an absolute war. If we see Benavidez handle very dominantly Anthony Yarde and mitigate that physicality and power and make it obsolete, I'm telling you right now, I will come here and say Canelo cannot beat Benavidez at all. In no way, shape, or form. In no weight class. I will say that he can't do it. Because if there was any metric to say that Benavidez could succumb to the power of Canelo, it would be if he fought against Anthony Yarde. It would be. That is the litmus test of every. Because again, the same way we saw Crawford be able to get and essentially block and predict most of the attacks of Canelo, which again is Terrence Crawford. I completely understand. Benavidez is not Terrence Crawford, though he is indeed a pound-for-pound top 10 fighter. We also understand that with the way that we've seen Benavidez progress and evolve as a fighter, getting better defensively, cross guard, high guard, distance management, using the jab, having better footwork, slipping and moving, manipulating guards, his own and his opponents, positioning to make it so that his opponents can't throw in certain angles, taking advantage of openings, being able to be safe, being able to keep his offensive bag while being better at being deliberately responsible for what's coming back at him. He's getting to a point where I've already said that he beats him. I've already said that Canelo waited too long, but I haven't said that there's no chance that Canelo beats him. At least I don't think I have. If I did, I'll walk it back now. If I did say that, I'll walk it back right now. Canelo, I don't think can beat him. Canelo, I don't believe at this stage will be able to handle that. But Canelo can still beat Benavidez. I just don't think it will happen. But if we see Benavidez handle Yarde, I'm going to say he can't beat him. He can't do it. You let time slip away. And now the window's still open, but you're not who you need to be anymore. And you let him get too good. You let him get better. You let him off the hook by downplaying his ability, downplaying his accolades, downplaying his talent, downplaying his name, downplaying his attachment to you. And now he is at a stage where he's nearly too much for you. Crawford was a different situation. Crawford, we thought you were gonna be too much for him. This is the other way around, brother. You ain't. It's getting late in the evening. It's getting mighty dark outside. You wait too long, you ain't gonna be able to make it home. And like we used to say, if we see that street light start to flicker, yeah, you missed your window. If we see that street light start to flicker, the assumption is we ain't gonna make it home in time when we were supposed to get home when we told our parents. When the street lights start to flicker, that's gonna be up. We were out too late. We told our folks we're gonna be back at this point in time. If Benavidez beats Yard handily, the street lights are gonna start flickering. And I'm gonna say definitively, yep, too late. We're too late. You're too late. You're too late. You can't beat him now. I'll say that. I'll stand on that as definitive. He doesn't do it. I believe he can beat him. I don't think he will. I'm picking Benavidez, but I know there's still a possibility. If we see this, there's gonna be no chance. There's gonna be no chance. Benavidez has been dropped many times. I think it's only been dropped like twice. He got stunned by Morrell. One time legally. Other time was illegally when it came to a punch after the bell. But outside of that, I don't think he's been dropped except for one time. I think that was early in his career. And if we want to put that into perspective, Canelo got rocked by Crawford and got put and should have been knocked down by the likes of Miguel Cotto's brother because the ropes held him up. If we want to go picking and choosing. But we're talking about what he is. What he is right now is something that it's going to be a mess for Canelo to beat. And it would be an upset. It would be an upset if Canelo beat him. It's still possible, but it would be an upset. He's not disciplined enough defensively. Wait a minute. Benavidez?
We got some problems here.
Benavidez isn't disciplined enough? Now, before I respond, because you saying Plant dropped him too. If anybody in the chat can validate that outside of an early knockdown in Benavidez's career, he's been knocked down again, specifically by Caleb Plant. Because I remember I watched that whole fight. Benavidez didn't get knocked down in that fight. I don't remember that. I watched that fight a couple times. I don't think he might have slipped. Like genuinely slipped. I don't think he got knocked down. When did that happen? When did that happen? The most shocking thing in that fight was Plant staying up for 12. After getting battered up, Benavidez was never even remotely in trouble of getting knocked down or rocked at all. I don't know. Unless you're thinking of a different fight, there's been no fight outside of well and good early in Benavidez's career. Like pre his first stint at the time. I think it was even before he got stripped because of drug use. I believe so. Okay, yeah. So because And again, I'm not trying to put air out people. We ain't trying to make people feel bad. We want to make sure we got it right. Because I don't remember him getting knocked down against Plant. If it was against somebody else, okay, yeah, okay. So it was okay. I thought so. It wasn't Plant. Now, if it's another situation, enlighten me, because I can't remember who else has knocked him down. I've only known he's been knocked down once. And that was off of like a light shot. And I believe he was off balance. It was still a genuine knockdown. But that specific opponent, I can't remember. That was early. But after that, I don't think I've ever seen him touch the canvas again. If it wasn't for him getting tangled up with his opponent and him slipping. That's the only other instance. And so I don't think he's been knocked down outside of once. So it's hard for me to say that I'm scared of him getting with Canelo's power. If we saw Crawford could take it, and he's taking David Morrell's power, and even if you want to say he got rocked by David Morrell, he got touched once, clean, by David. As the only time he got put like hurt. Like hurt. David Morrell. No. David Morrell buckled him. David Morrell buckled him. But he didn't knock him down. David Morrell caught him with a counter right. Is he a southpaw? No, he was on the ropes. Yeah, caught him with a counter right when Benavidez was walking him down and doing his flurries. And he buckled him. Benavidez held on to Morrell, but for about like 5 seconds was in a bad state. Held on, recovered, went back, and then, like it was nothing, went back to dominating Morrell to the body with like 2 or 3 hooks downstairs to end off the round, to still win the round. The other time was when he got rocked after the bell on the bottom left corner. When he had Morrell in a flurry again, the ref broke it up. But Morrell threw a shot. I think it was another right that caught Benavidez and stunned him as he was walking back to his corner. But outside of that, I don't think he was ever knocked down in that fight. No, I know he wasn't knocked down in that fight. He took that. If the only down that he took was in the clinch, when Morrell forced him to a knee, not with punches, with his forearms, and forced him to take a knee, which is what Tank fans used as to say, see, he did it. David Benavidez did it, and it wasn't called a knockdown. So why are you saying it should be called a knockdown for Tank? Nothing landed. That ignorant mess that was going on when that whole conversation was happening. That's it. So I believe, I don't think that was the case. I don't think, if my memory serves me right, that wasn't a knockdown. But it was a testament to what Benavidez is as a fighter. And how this fight with Canelo and this fight with Canelo and Crawford, it further shows it's got to happen. It's got to happen. And real quick, the discipline thing. David Benavidez, late in the fight, is not disciplined. Yes, because now he's got you. Now he's got you. And his opponent is too beat up and or tired to throw anything of note anymore. Take the David Morrell fight. When the David Morrell fight came to the later stage of the round, what happened? We saw Benavidez doing a pseudo Ali shuffle. Jabbing off angle like Roy Jones Jr. and looking away type stuff. Going through and throwing more combinations. Slipping with his head down or with his hands down. Because he can do whatever he wanted to. We see Inoue do the same thing. When he sees that he's got you, now he can throw caution to the wind because there's nothing you can do against him anymore. Against Akbadali, for 6 rounds, he was disciplined. Disciplined as all get out. And then all of a sudden he started clowning. All of a sudden he started goading Ahmed Ali like Paul Butler. Jabbing and ducking, slipping left and right. Jumping back like Ali and turning his head against punches. Taunting him. Goading him. Come on, Doc. Right there, boom. Catch him with the right. Sound like a shotgun. Uppercuts leading in the rolls with your hands down the whole time. Circling around the ring like you doggone skipping. Talking smack. Playing to the crowd. Because there was nothing Ahmed Ali could do. It was over. You had been beat and the fight wasn't even over. And now I am so comfortable because I've taken away everything that you can do. I'm good. I can do what I want to do. Because you can't do nothing to me. That's what Benavidez does to his opponents. But even with that, he is still defensively responsible. Crazy enough, he will still, but he'll let his, it's not anger, but he'll let his aggression take over. He'll let his aggression take over. Because now you can't do a thing to me. You're drained. You're sapped of energy. You're bloody. You are broken down. You are scared to throw. Your arms hurt from blocking. You ain't got the stamina to keep up with my pace. And at whatever range I want to handle you, I can handle you. And there's nothing you can do about it. If I want to just jab you to death, I can. If I want to throw triple hooks, I can. If I want to exchange on the inside, I can. Because you can't. You are a lost cause from this stage on in the fight. Because I was so disciplined for the first 6, 7 rounds. And made you miss. And I'm still making you miss now. But I also know I can be loose because you are obsolete now. He's turned into one of the best fighters that we got today. More than just pound for pound with accolades, pound for pound with talent. This man is the best version of David Benavidez that we've ever seen. Understandably so, because it's a man who has just kept on changing his game for the better. Which I love. Benavidez has been impressive for about 3 years straight. 3 years straight. This man has not had a performance that has had us been saying, oh my gosh. In a bad way. His fight with Gavazdi. Guess what? First fight at 175, going up against the former champion. The biggest concern was he doesn't have the power. And he punched himself out. But that was because he wasn't used to 154 as a weight, or 175 as a weight class. And moving up in weight, okay, boom. The biggest point of his ability now was nullified due to better durability by the greater landscape of the division. But even with that being said, he still fought exactly like David Benavidez with no changes at all in a negative light. The volume was still the same. The aggression was still the same. The offense was still the same. And the defense got better. The only gripe was what you don't have as a physical tool. But everything else technically, he got forced to do things he didn't have to do at 168, and he did with flying colors. And against Dave Morrell, he got further shown. Shooting this last fight at 168 against Boo Boo Andre, who was supposed to be a crafty, tricky brother who was avoided by the rest of the division. Guess what he did? He handled him in 5. And he made all of that movement obsolete. And we saw him evolve and change in that fight. I don't know, he's been on one of the best runs of the past 5 years of most of the dominant fighters in the world. He just has. He beats Anthony Yard. That puts him up there, that brother. Oh, gosh. Then if he beats Bebo, well, what you going to say then? He already says, yeah, I can knock this brother out. I sparred with him when I wasn't this good. Early in my career, he took me in. Or we sparred and trained. He helped me. I learned some things from him. I've been in the ring with this cat. I know what I can do now compared to what I could do back then. He beats him. Hey, I don't know what else you can say. I don't know what else you can say. If he does that with Canelo, he going down. No, he's not. He's not. He just isn't. Because Crawford did it. Not saying that Benavidez is Crawford, but Benavidez should not have been able to do it. Benavidez, or excuse me, Crawford should not have been able to do what he did in those later rounds, getting aggressive. Crawford should not have been able to throw caution to the wind. Crawford should not have been able to go through and be better than Canelo while being more aggressive in the pocket with Canelo. He shouldn't have. But he did it because he's that great. But anybody that could do it had to have what skill sets? Durability. Oh, excuse me, that's a physical. Had to have the physical traits of durability and speed. And then the skill sets of being able to operate on the inside better than Canelo. And as well, mitigate the looping hooks and the pressure, which Benavidez can do with flying colors. There has not been a fight with Benavidez where he has been forced on the back foot. There has not been a fight with Benavidez where he has been forced on the back foot for more than, 3 rounds. There has not been a fight with Benavidez where this man has not been in dominant, complete control walking forward. We've seen that with Canelo. We've seen that on 2 occasions. We've seen that with Canelo. That's the truth. Benavidez has everything to beat Canelo and has the very gifts that can make it so that Canelo can't do a thing with him. He can still beat him. There's still a possibility, but they ain't looking good right now. That's why I said if he beats Yard in a dominant way, I'm going to say there's no chance. I'm going to say confident there's no chance. His buddy did the same thing versus Bud and got KO. Well, his buddy isn't as good. And his buddy didn't do the same thing. His buddy didn't do his buddy did not do the same thing that Benavidez does now. I can promise you that. Go watch that fight with Benavidez versus Bud. Go watch the fight with Morrell versus Benavidez. David Benavidez. And see what happened. Jose Benavidez is the worst brother of the Benavidez. Yes, he was a former champion. I'm not saying that he isn't a good fighter, but he ain't that. He ain't evolved like that. He ain't got that ability. He doesn't have that ability. It's just not in him. You're using a fighter. If we want to go that way, if we want to go that route, people fight like Roy Jones Jr. all the time. But why do we say that everybody can't be that? Because Chris Eubanks fought like Roy Jones Jr. and he got knocked out. And as most fighters do. You can't say that because somebody else did something against a different fighter. For a fighter that does it better, and you're using it against an example of somebody that not just does it, can do the same style as the guy that you're referencing, but did it better. And also, that's not even his base style. Jose Benavidez don't use that movement. Jose Benavidez ain't slipping, pre-slipping. Jose Benavidez ain't changing angles. Jose Benavidez ain't using a high guard, a cross guard, a Philly shell. Jose Benavidez ain't using distance management. Jose Benavidez ain't even using the jab as effectively as Benavidez. Not nearly. Let alone combination punching. Lord knows it ain't the same. Offense is night and day. It is not even comparable. And durability. Jose Benavidez is one of the toughest brothers out there. I know, no question about that. I'm not gonna question him. Heart, chin, he's been knocked out by Crawford. Yes, but again, that's Terrence Crawford. Every example you're using is, again, one of the 10 greatest fighters in boxing history. Everybody ain't him. And we know that. Everybody ain't in a way. Aquindali would give a bunch of people a world of trouble. But I'm telling you this, he ain't giving Inoue trouble, and he didn't. And people try to fight like Inoue, they're going to get put to sleep because they can't do it. So if anybody tries to fight like Terrence Crawford, they're going to get put to sleep because they can't do it. If Jose Benavidez tried to fight like his brother, he couldn't. But his brother can fight like him and can fight better than him. League's better. And as shown, he is better. And so there's nothing he can do. Jose landed a lot of good shots, but he did. Absolutely he did. That was a fight. That was a good fight. Y'all forget. That fight with Jose Benavidez and Bud was having to really go through the ring. He didn't knock him out until late. But he was getting pieced up his own self. With the same style that Benavidez does. So all of a sudden, somebody fights in the style that works against Bud. But it's bigger than Bud and his brother. And it's better. And we saying that can't work against you? It's a thing. And again, like I got my money on Canelo. I have no problem with it. I'm not saying that Canelo cannot win. I am going to say that he can't win if Benavidez handles Anthony Yarde in dominance. I'm going to say that. But at this point in time, Canelo can win. But we can't gloss over the known issues and the decline of Canelo. The zenith of Benavidez he's at right now, and also the stylistic nature that just is a nightmare for this cat. I want you to imagine if Bivol was more aggressive against Canelo. I'm not comparing them in style, but in terms of the way that Bivol was keeping Canelo on the ropes, keeping him on the back foot, keeping him occupied with volume and straight shots that were coming out quick as lightning. I want you to imagine a Bivol that wasn't so concerned with the power of Canelo. And after round 6, when he was like, okay, yeah, I got him now, and Canelo was waning, you could see the tiredness, you could see the fatigue, you could see the frustration. All of a sudden, he went from being, okay, I'm going to keep you on everything right, to you know what? We're going for it. And I'm going, and instead of being so wary of the power, really tried to pour it on to Canelo. I'm not saying he would have knocked him out. But I tell you what, that would have been a way worse beating. Way worse beating. Now imagine that aggressive version of Bivol as the first gear for Bivol in that fight. That's what Benavidez is going to be if they fight against each other. Bivol being aggressive is the last gear, and we see what his offense can do. Benavidez in first gear is looking to put out the same amount of volume as Bivol when Bivol has you on the ropes. And he's doing that in the center of the ring. Benavidez got one of the highest punch outputs in all of boxing. Benavidez also, for the perspective of percentage, is also one of the better punchers in punch and precision in all of boxing as well, relative to the amount that he throws. And we're dealing with a man who from gear 1 is going to put you in a blender of offense that is going to make you instinctively fall back. And that's stage 1. But a gear 2, oh shoot. Gear 3, you're done. Once it gets to gear 5, he's looking for the KO. And now you see volume punching, and you see combinations that I dare say we don't see anybody else in the world throw. And you see a complete level of domination that can be only rivaled by a select few in the boxing world today. Only a select few. That's what Canelo's going to be walking in the ring with. The very essence of the worst aspects of Canelo and his deficiencies as a fighter all exist in the very being of Benavidez. Beyond just the height and beyond just the length. So I'm telling you, he ain't gonna be I am concerned for Canelo. I'm concerned for Canelo. Whether you think it's valid or not, it's valid. Because in this situation, it is unfathomable to not be able to recognize the real threat that this brother is, and the notion that it's just hype shouldn't even exist anymore. Because he did it on a bigger stage where Canelo failed. So, like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say, except for, like, we gonna find out. If Canelo takes charge, we gonna find out. But if Canelo keeps on running, the only thing we can say is, hey, you're ducking your best competition. The fact we think you're so great because we know you can fight him. But you ain't taking the charge. That's not on us. That's not my fault. That's not my prerogative. My only prerogative is to say, we know you can fight somebody, so fight somebody. And the legacy makes money, and this is a legacy fight that is, again, a non-negotiable. That is not able to be overlooked without your career being put in a different light, unlike with Terrence Crawford. You got to fight him, or else your very standing in all-time greatness is going to be at a plateau. If anything, it'll be used to bring you down. If anything, it'll be used to bring you down. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. Win, lose, or draw is better than you take them on. Then you never fight them. Because that will be a stain that will change the perception of your status as a great. As time moves forward. Just like with Floyd Mayweather. We see it happening now. The fights that he did not take, or the fights that he took when he took them, are now being held in against him. So why context is so important when it comes to careers in boxing as a whole. People are getting privy to the fact that he did fight people at the right time. That he didn't give Oscar De La Hoya his rightful rematch. That he did wait out Manny Pacquiao. That he did not fight Winky Wright. That he fought Conor McGregor for his 50th win instead of an actual competitive fighter. Especially since it was at 147. Hey, guess what? You could have fought Spence. Or a game contender. Keith Thurman was also there. You had people instead of Conor McGregor. It is not us saying that his greatness is going to be laden as a wasteland. But time heals all wounds, and also time reveals all at some point. Time reveals all at some point in time. And with time comes reflection. And with reflection comes reevaluation. And when it comes to Canelo, this one fight is putting his reevaluation as the years go on for greats in the boxing world, is putting that in jeopardy. It's putting that in, I'm telling you, it's putting that in jeopardy. Let me see. Pacquiao is still fighting for belts right now. How did Floyd wait him out? Like, no. From the understanding with Teddy Atlas, with Max Kellerman, most of the people that know more boxing than me, and me looking into it, it seems about, Pacquiao has still been able to sustain a level of greatness well beyond what it should be. Absolutely. But for that fight with Pacquiao and Floyd, there was a point in time, 5 years before that fight was going through. It was the most hotly contested situation It was the fight that everybody wanted to see. Pacquiao had all of his powers, I believe, at 147. Everything that we knew about Pacquiao was still there. And there is no other fight to make. And still, that fight didn't happen up until, again, 5 years afterwards. Up until after the Marquez knockout. Up until after a couple of instances and more wear and tear. There was a point in time where we were seeing a decline in Pacquiao. Though he was still at the top. Yes, he even beat Keith Thurman. Phenomenal. But again, when Roy Jones Jr. said it best, when fighting with Floyd, there wasn't a guy for most of his career that when he fought, it was a true, oh my gosh, 50-50. At least when he started making the change from Pretty Boy to Money. When he changed from Pretty Boy to Money, that's when everything went, oh gosh. Stuff really started messing up from the standpoint of a business-wise venture. Making money, absolutely. Doing everything right. Again, that's why Tank is a mentor. But the criticism was still there, and deservedly so. There's some risk and some opportunities that you should have taken, that you could have taken, that still would have made money, but you didn't do. Because you was smart. You was smart. Absolutely, you was smart. Absolutely, he was. But when he came to Pacquiao, even when the business stuff made sense, stuff didn't happen. And it could have. It should have happened. But see what's going on. And what happened eventually happened. Pacquiao at his peak was able to beat Floyd, in my opinion. But that version of Pacquiao that did fight him, though he was still fighting and even had championships before that fight, that wasn't going to be able to beat him. Because that he was just, it may have even been just a 20% dulling in speed. But like I said yesterday, at that level, that 20% is clear as night and day. And it's present and telling by every boxer. And for Floyd, that was more than enough. Yeah, you can't do that with me. Your legs are just slow enough that I can do whatever I want. You're just a little less explosive to where you can handle everybody else in this division. But now, yeah, it's no shot that you can beat me. Sure, you can give everybody else a great fight, but at this stage, you're not the best that you were. And you're not what you could have been when we fought. So, prime time, big money, everything waiting around, finally get it. Biggest payday, second only to Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, absolutely. The hype was there. But hindsight, oh no, this wasn't the guy. And subsequently, as time went on, okay, yeah, Pacquiao kept fighting, but we saw, yeah, he definitely wasn't the same. That's what has been held against him. Call it fair, call it unfair, but that's the conversation surrounding Floyd now. That's what I don't want to happen to Canelo, at least when it comes to not fighting people that he should fight. Because then it overclasses the skill set, then it messes up his ability to be seen as a talent rather than just a name that now is being more derogatory than it is useful. Or not useful, more derogatory than it is praised. And he still gets a whole bunch of praise. And so, that's what I don't want to happen to Canelo. Just fight Benavidez at the right time. You haven't had a problem with anybody else in your career, except this one man. This one man is the man that you got to do. That's all, at least for me, that's all I'm saying. But let me see. I just disagree on the Manning fight. Agree he never fought Ricky. And like I said, again, if you don't agree, perfectly fine. Again, it's discourse. It's conversation. I'm giving you the timeline that I understood and that I learned. And my opinions on it. I'm not saying, if you think I'm wrong, hey, completely fine. Absolutely. I just genuinely feel that Pacquiao would have had a way better shot and it would have been an even more competitive fight. And I think he would have been able to beat him if he had fought Floyd Mayweather 5 years earlier. There was a point in time when that fight was able to actually happen, but it didn't. And Floyd never pursued it, and they were right there with each other. and it could have been, all right, get it on. Which eats into, again, the Floyd thing, or the voice statement, that there was never a truly dangerous fight when the fight was taken that Roy felt Mayweather was putting himself in some real danger. He fought good and great opponents, absolutely. But if you look at when he fought them, a lot of them, well, I won't say a lot, but a good chunk more than we would want. He fought them right when they were at their decline, and him, where he was in his career, could absolutely take him. But when it was truly, I'm here at my best, and you're here at my best, when he made the switch from pretty boy to money, those fights didn't happen when they were supposed to happen. With Pacquiao, sadly, in my estimation, being one of those casualties of business over legacy. And why we didn't get the fight that we should have gotten with it. You can say he's a better fighter. Sure, fine, go ahead. Whoever you think is better, know what you do. Have your opinions, have your thoughts. That's a great discussion. But it's hard for me to look at this and say, I know. Or it's hard for me to not look at this and say, I know this ain't what it was supposed to be. I know. Because I'm watching the timeline and subsequently what Pacquiao did or was. And then when it actually happened, all of a sudden it fell in line with some of the other moves that Floyd had made to be like, oh, he wasn't at the peak. And he was down just enough. And people were saying they were down just enough. A little bit of decline, but oh, yeah, he's still great. That's when he fought him. And that's where my issue comes in with Floyd. Still one of the greatest fighters ever. Still one of the two best defensive fighters we've ever seen. Arguably the best defensive fighter we've ever seen. Point blank period. He is a face of a generation and is a fighter who everybody should study. No question about it. You ain't going to have me say that about him. Or you ain't going to have me not say that about him. I'm not going to be ignorant of what he is. I'm not going to diminish what he's done. Because he still beat those. He still beat Miguel Cotto. He still beat Oscar De La Hoya. He still beat 22 world champions. Still is a multi-division world champion. He still was, deservedly so, pound for pound, the best in the world. He still is one of the all-decade best fighters we've ever seen. Still fighter of the year. Billionaire. The greatest businessman that we've seen in boxing history. Me not having that as a reality would just be me being a fool. But the context is still the context. And that's why he's being talked about in this era. More people saying some of the similar stuff because they're able to go back and see it. And so that's my thing. But still, it's great. Let me see. And there was one more. Hold on. What the what? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Lord, hold on. Wait a minute. Felt either I'm crazy. It felt like something caught me on the top of the head. It might just be. It might just be me. Like I said, maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe I need a little bit of a drink. Hold on. Wait a minute. Maybe I need a little bit of a drink. No, a little bit of liquid in me. Woo! 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 Oh, that's strong. Oh, that's strong. Oh, Lord. Oh my gosh. Shoot. Woo. That'll wake you up. Lord, now it ain't alcohol. I put too much sugar. I put too much sugar in my coffee. Oh, shoot, that thing hit me like crack cocaine. Great day in the morning. That good gosh. That, I know I ain't never drunk before, but woo! Is this what vodka be doing? Is this what moonshine be doing? See, I had some, I had some family. Somewhere along the line of my family used to run moonshine. Is this what it was like drinking that stuff? Great day in the morning. Now again, maybe I'm over exaggerating. Maybe so, but good gosh. I just reacted the same way. I see somebody down a gallon of moonshine, and I'm thinking, shoot, I'm about to die. I'm feeling like I'm going through it. That thing hit my system, but my eyes got hazy, my head got light. I was coughing, couldn't catch my breath. I was straight. Oh shoot! Oh my gosh! Dang! I'm sweating. Dang! I definitely put too much. I definitely put too much sugar in that thing. I put too much sugar in that coffee. Good gosh, Lord! Let me recompose myself. Hold on. My apologies. Let me. I just went through something. Hold on. Let me recompose myself. We still got roughly 10 minutes left, and we want to keep it going with the championship rounds. Because, like I said, we're trying to keep it under a time constraint. We don't want it to go 4 hours unless y'all want to be paying me some big bucks, some moolah, some dineros, that Gouda, that butter, that cheddar, that cheese, whatever you want to have as some means of conversation. Oh yeah, I'll stick around long enough, but I don't want to hold y'all up as much longer. Because I know everybody's got things to do. People got places to go. People got things to handle, absolutely. And we don't want to stretch the show out to where it becomes a chore. So we're going to do the last call when it comes to the world of the championship round. Last call for this show on whatever topics of discussion, debates, conversation, anything that you want to have in regards to the world of boxing and beyond. I would love to hear what you all have to say on anything else. If not, then hey, I have no way that we can pack it up, send it home, and get on out of here. Like I said before, I got food to eat. I got stuff to do. I got McDonald's Monopoly. I got to make sure I start playing because indeed we trying to win them points. I got to do one more ticket and I got a trip. No, one more ticket and I got what is it? It's either ATV, a motorbike, or them. You know them. You know those, I forget I don't know what they're called, but them like cars, but they got 3 wheels, and they got lights underneath it and all that stuff. I'm one ticket away from getting one of them. And so, Lord knows, I'm about to go, shoot, this feel like gambling. I'm about to go buy me 10 large fries, 10 sweet teas, and I'm about to buy me a couple Big Macs as well. And I'm gonna try to see if I can get that sticker so I can get them prize money. I'm 1 away from one of those. I'm 2 away, I think, from like a trip to the Bahamas. And also might be 1 away from $50,000. Oh Lord, who knows? Hey! Oh, we might have some stuff in store in our next couple of days. Who knows? With Monopoly, we gonna gamble our life away on buying nothing but Big Macs. And see where it takes you. But let me see. What's your final pick for Wardley Parker? I think I had already said it, but I'll say it again. I got Parker by KO in round 11. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. We're going to see this man put on the price, get out the way of Wardley's shots if he's able to stay safe from a lot of those looping hooks, especially that straight right hand. That can definitely become a dangerous sentiment. And then afterwards, we're going to see Wardley get desperate again. We're going to see Wardley get fatigued again. We're going to see Wardley get to a situation where he's put in another Justice Hooney type of fight. And after that, it's going to be Joseph Parker will be able to pour it on in the same way Justice Hooney did. But in this situation, he won't be at the center of the ring to let Wardley get space to get a knockout. And he will have enough power and enough speed to be able to put down Wardley before Wardley can brace himself for some of these shots. Unlike with Justice Huni, who had good speed, don't get me wrong, and was fighting phenomenal. But he had just enough power to rock him, but not enough to finally put him down. Parker, especially him coming into the fight at 264. Coming into the fight at 264, could be 266, could be 270. By the time the fight actually comes through, I'm not saying he's got to rehydrate, but who knows what he might put on night of the fight. Hey, it's going to be a dangerous game for Wardley. He's going to have enough power to stop this cat. He is going to, I'm going to tell you this though. He is going to have to deal with that early aggression from Fabio Wardley. I'm going to tell you that. That's where this can get sketchy for Joseph Parker. The early aggression from Fabio Wardley is going to be something that we're going to have to see Parker handle, mitigate. The art of what Huni did was he was able to avoid the aggressive onslaught from the jump. Parker, it does take him some time. At least if we're going off the backs of his performance against Big Jang. It does take him some time to get the rhythm or to be able to say, okay, yeah, I'm getting out the way of stuff. He was even getting grazed by Deontay Wilder before ultimately fully getting the rhythm and fully being able to get the timing down. And then boom, then he became untouchable. But it does take a couple rounds for Parker to get that flow and turn into that Parker that, okay, this is the experience coming in. Those early rounds could be a struggle. Absolutely. But after round 6, and the same thing happens to Wardley that happened against Huni. He's getting fatigued. He's running out of weapons. He's getting caught and clipped, especially if he gets rocked again. Yeah. I'm scared. Parker's going to have this and be able to have his way the rest of the way. And he'll be able to get a knockout. He'll be able to get a knockout by round 11. I really do believe it. It's going to take that much punishment, but I'm telling you, it can happen. It can happen. Let me see. Oh, 265. I don't like that. Oh, so you don't like. Oh, interesting. So you think it's coming in too big against Fabio Wardley? Man. Let me see. It might go to decision. Parker might not have the stamina to put him out. Now, that's interesting. Because I'm thinking that the stamina battle was on Wardley more than Parker. I've seen Parker go the distance in competitive fights. I've seen him get second wins, even at his size. I haven't seen Fabio Wardley at any stage that is the later rounds that he turns into a sustaining fighter where everything is still relatively similar to what it was when he was in the early rounds pre-round 6. Parker's been a little bit more consistent for me. So I think the stamina battle might be on the other end of the spectrum, especially because Wardley throws everything at 100 miles an hour, full-blown throwing knockout shots. Especially when he lets his grit really take hold. And especially when he gets caught. Then it's like, okay, well, something's going to land. We just going to war it out. So I'm yeah. Telling you, it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting to see on tomorrow. Parker's like a 245, 250 guy to me. I think he can get to 260 and still have everything that he is as a fighter. 260 for me would be the limit, but I think he can still be just fine while at that heavier weight. I think so. Again, with his style and what he is prepping for, I think this is the right move. Because mind you, it was. Hold on. Wait a minute. Mind you, Justice Hooney weighed in at 548. Not 5, I'm sorry. Hooney weighed in at 248 against Fabio Wardley. So Parker at 260. That's roughly 20 pounds. So that's about 10 pounds heavier. I'm sorry, that's over 10 pounds heavier. But he might be playing the Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, never mind. I thought something was going on outside. But he might be playing the durability game. Similar to the likes of Tyson Fury when he gained weight to be bigger against Deontay Wilder. It went into a situation where that also added as a shock absorber. Now, ultimately afterwards, when Wilder gained weight, what did he do? He knocked him down twice. That was because Wilder was legitimately the strongest he had ever been in his career. That would have put anybody down, going up against Tyson Fury. But that added weight was able to absorb a lot of the punishment against a heavy puncher. Joseph Parker might be going for that same type of thing. And if it works, great. If it works, Captain Tatum, hey man, look, I'm having you here. Glad you tuned into the show. Appreciate you coming here on the show. Leave a like on the stream since you're joining it. If it's your first time here, we appreciate you. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be doing this 3 days out the week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Get the strap. Hey, look, man, I'm not saying I'm a violent man, but I was trying to make sure we were up and up. I got my window open because I'm trying to be sure I can see, some natural lighting, help with the ambiance of the room, help me look a little bit better. I did some camera work over in college. The value of the sun is a very good thing, but I was just trying to make sure I was all right, or that nothing fishy was going on. I saw somebody pull up, and I was like, hold on, something, I might need to. Might need to have some business, but no. We good. I can put my mouse tool back inside its socket and be okay. For that. I'm kidding. I'm just messing. We just having fun on this show. But again, that's my prediction for Wardley versus Parker. I think Parker gets him out of there in 11 rounds. It's going to be a dogfight because Wardley's going to want to go to war. He's going to go into the same tendencies that he did with Justice Hooney. And it's going to be that he gets stopped this time because that one-punch KO most likely won't happen. And we are not going to see Joseph Parker not have the power to stop Wardley. Because if Parker gets you hurt, Parker will be able to finish that job. Hooney had him hurt but multiple times, but he couldn't get it done. He couldn't put him down because Wardley's got an insane chin. But Parker, you give him that same opening with that experience and that power, coupled with that speed, yeah, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a major issue. It's gonna be a major issue. I promise you. I guarantee you that. But again, with all that being said, I think we're going to wrap this up and send this home. Unless anybody else has any more questions to say. We'll do it one more time. Last call for the show. For anything they want to say, anything you want to do, whatever conversation or questions you want to have. Like I said, shameless plug. If you want to support the channel and you like what you're hearing, we got Cash App. Hey, we got PayPal. We got links down below in the description if you'd like to come and support and help make this show bigger, better, and greater. Put some money in my pockets and, hey, help me win some McDonald's free food by letting me go and get some money to purchase. So we can rip them that Monopoly stuff off like doggone scratcher, lottery scratchers and see what I can get. But if nobody else has anything that they want to say, if we all well and good, talked about everything that we can talk about, hey, I think it's a good place to wrap it up, send it home, and get on out of here. So with all that being said, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We appreciate all of you tuning in and joining in on the fun, joining in on the live, joining in on all of the action for today. We appreciate you all showing up, showing out. Thank you to everybody who came on the stream, who commented, who chatted, who came through and had an abundance of fun with us today. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday right here on YouTube. Also, we're available on every podcasting platform imaginable. Rate us 5 stars there. One more time, if you want to support the show, we got Cash App and PayPal. While we're waiting on monetization, anything we'll do, you can help out support. Top chatters update, pound for pound. Top chatters, number 3, Teddy Burkshot. Number 2 was Geeball, crazy enough. And number 1, retaining his undefeated, well, not undefeated, but his current status as the undisputed top commenter in all of, at least for this chat, in all of the Welch Report. It is Al Booga. Yes, sir. That's right. Yeah, buddy. Congratulations to Al Booga for being, yet again, for the second show in a row, the top commenter for this chat and pound for pound, number 1 on today's episode for the second day and for the second show in a row. So we appreciate it. Can you keep that rating up? Come next Tuesday, we gonna find out. Absolutely. But again, with all that being said, I have been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. We will see you all next week. Or, well, I'm going to leave it up in the air on whether we can call the Wardley fight. I want to say yes, but I can't say nothing for certain. I'll give you an update on that tomorrow, live right here on YouTube, if we do or if we don't. I'll let y'all know. But again, with all that being said, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all either tomorrow or next week. Be safe, be blessed, and we out.